not have this whole entire elaborated excretion mechanism. Rather, they have the simple mechanism, that is diffusion for everything. Diffusion for gases, diffusion for food intake, and also for excretion. But for us, the multicellular organisms, we have a very elaborated method. And in the case of human beings, it's even more efficient, even more elaborate, and everything. Now, the excretory system of human being, it consists of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, a urinary bladder, and the urethra. These structures are present in the excretory system. Now, when we talk about the location of kidney, so it is located in the abdomen on the either side of the back. The position is not towards the front hand side, rather back hand side. Now, urine is produced in the kidneys. We know that whenever the blood gets filtered, then the urine is produced, and that happens inside the kidneys. Now, after the urine has been formed, it gets transported out of the kidneys through the ureters. Now, ureters are those pipelines. Imagine it like that. They come out of the kidneys. Those are the vessels, and they're responsible for the transportation of urine. Ultimately, they get stored in the urinary bladder. That is like a muscular sac-like structure responsible for the storage of the urine. Now, the urinary bladder has been supplied with certain stretch receptors. So, whenever the urinary bladder is full, those stretch receptors, it signals the brain that, okay, now it is full, now you have to empty it. Now, how is the urine produced? So, whenever the blood is filtered by the kidneys to remove the nitrogenous waste such as urea, uric acid, then only the urine is produced. Now, see, these are the most common nitrogenous waste, like I discussed in the previous class. Ammonia is the most toxic, urea is the less toxic, and uric acid is the least toxic. We are ureotelic because we have urea as our nitrogenous waste. Now, the filtration unit of the kidneys, they are known as nephrons. Just like how we had the unit of nervous system, neuron, unit of life, that is the cell. Same way, the unit of the kidneys or the excretory system will be nephron. Now, inside each of the kidney, meaning we have two kidneys, so there will be multiple, like millions and millions of nephrons present, and they become the unit because the whole entire process that we talked about, the filtration, the transport, the filtration part, it takes place in the nephron. Now, inside the kidney, this structure is present. Now, this is the structure of a nephron, which has the glomerulus, which is a tuft of arteries. Tuft means a bunch of arteries that are present inside a cup-like structure called as the Bowman's capsule. Now, from it arises the proximal convoluted tubule, this one that you're seeing here, meaning it arises like this and then it goes on like this. Okay, so this is the proximal convoluted tubule. Then there comes this part, is the descending limb of loop of Henle, meaning this U-shaped structure that you're seeing, it is the loop of Henle. Now, loop of Henle has two limbs. One is the descending, which is going down, and the one that is coming up is the ascending. Ultimately, lastly, there is the collecting duct. And the collecting duct of several nephrons, it opens into the one structure. Is it clear, students? The structure of a nephron. Now let us see what are the processes that takes place in the urine formation. So three major processes are there: filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. Now filtration, you can also call it as glomerular filtration. Now the filtration, it is basically wherein the blood passes through the nephron and simultaneously it gets filtered and the nitrogenous waste is collected. Then there is reabsorption. Now substances, see, not every single thing that gets filtered out of the blood is a waste. No, there are many, you can say, components of it that are still useful. So some substances in the initial filtering, meaning the part that has been strained or the part that has been filtered, it contains glucose, amino acid, certain salts, and we can't throw it out. So we reabsorb it. Not we, particularly our nephron, is responsible for the reabsorption of all of these major components. Also water. Our body cannot bear the water loss very nicely. So we have to conserve water in our body. And that is again, water is reabsorbed selectively. Now, the amount of water that is reabsorbed depends on how much dissolved waste is present. For example, for the most nitrogen, toxic nitrogenous waste, that is ammonia, more water will be required to excrete it out. For a lesser toxic, less water, and for the least toxic, that is uric acid, for that, the you can say the least amount of water will be needed for that purpose. So depending upon what is the waste, whether it is ammonia, urea, uric acid, upon depending upon that, the amount of water to be reabsorbed would vary. Clear? Then comes selective secretion. So some harmful substances, they are secreted from the tubules of nephrons to the urine. Okay, so selective secretion also takes place. Most toxic waste require more water and least toxic waste requires less water. Ultimately, after this, the urine has been formed. Now, the urine that has been formed, it gets stored in the urinary bladder until it becomes full. Now, when the urinary bladder expands, it leads to the urge to pass out the urine through the urethra. And you know that it has stretch receptors present. Now, the urinary bladder is under the neural control. Why? Because it's all under the control of the brain. We can control the urge to urinate. That is why we can consider it as a neural control, because ultimately you are controlling it through your mind, right? So this is about how excretion takes place. Now tell me, students, if you have any doubts in this thing. It's clear? Is there anyone who has any point missing from the notes?
Ma'am, I have a question to ask.
Ask.
Second. Wait, can I ask in the last? I can't find it right now.
Ask the question.
It's a question from my question paper.
Okay.
It was related to this, but I didn't know how to answer it. Wait. Yeah, this one. It goes like in summer season, the amount of urine produced by a human is generally lesser than the produced uh, during other seasons. If one fails to keep oneself sufficiently hydrated, justify.
What is the last line?
I'll say it from the start. In summer season, the amount of urine produced by a human is generally lesser than that produced during other seasons. If one fails to keep oneself sufficiently hydrated, justify.
Hmm.
Like,
See,
how would I answer this? It's a two-mark question.
okay. Basically, this question tells us that during the summertime, there is lesser amount of urine produced as the other season, right? Now, the reason is that during the summers, our body requires much more amount of water, right? Because of the heat, because of constant perspiration. Perspiration means sweating, right? In the summertime, we sweat a lot. So when we sweat, a lot of the water loss also takes place through that, right? Even though the water loss is also a mechanism like perspiration, particularly sweating, is also a mechanism of removal of excretory waste. But while we sweat, we also lose a lot of salt and water. So that is the reason why we keep on hydrating ourselves. You might have also noticed that during the summertime, we tend to feel a lot thirsty as compared to winter or any other time. So what our body does, our body has this mechanism to absorb as much water as it is possible, meaning so as to keep the body hydrated, and it produces a more concentrated urine. That is the reason.
Okay, I didn't know, so I didn't like write what you said right now.
You did not attempt the question.
I did attend it, but the thing is, I didn't write like exactly. I did write that if you get hydrated, and then in summer, we do drink. I just wrote whatever it was there in the question. I just extended the question because I did not had one, you know,
Okay.
I had
Hmm.
anything.
Just remember that during the summertime, because of the water loss from our body in variety of ways like perspiration, the most common perspiration means sweating. So because of that only, our body requires more and more water. We tend to drink more and more water, right? But during the summertime, our excretory system works in a very efficient manner so as to conserve the water as much as possible. That is why the amount or the urine output is much, much less. Clear?
Oh, okay.
Also, students, have you been getting the after class assessments? Like when the classes are done, completed, do you people get the assessments or the assignment or the homework? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it in MCQ form or subjective form?
MCQ.
MCQ. Okay. And
Okay.
while doing so, does anyone have any problem in that? Any question that troubles you? And all of you are doing the homework on time, right? I see
I don't.
some smiles.
I
I see
don't
some smiles.
have exams going on, so I didn't do like.
Not currently, but you've been getting it for a while, right? I'm not talking about yesterday or day before or the last biology class. And I think you people have only one class a week with me, isn't it? Anyway, the bottom line is that if you people, first of all, you people should attempt those questions, because it like the more questions you attempt, the better you have the chances of having no fault in the exam. Like you will be able to answer every question because you've already dealt with so many questions. And while you answer many questions and you give your copy or you give your answers for evaluation, then you make yourself vulnerable. Then you're like, okay, teacher, now you can judge. So while the teacher judges you, you understand it better that where you are lacking. And once you understand where you lack, then you're on the path to perfectness. Right? Excellence. Getting me? So the bottom line, what I wanted to say that first of all, please attempt those questions and do the homework because it is for you. I do not have any sadistic pleasure in giving you exams or giving you tests, and then I do not enjoy that. But it is for your benefit. The things that you learn in the class, you people, like most of the students in this class are interactive. So the things that you learn, you test yourself, whether or not have I understood. Because here, the only competition you people have is yourself, isn't it? You want to be better than yourself, better than what you were before, isn't it? Now you all, like all of you, I think, might have felt the changes, right? How you have changed ever since you have like you started to study, and now you have excellent, like you have that property wherein you learn things, isn't it? Once you you can say put that effort in your studies, you learn it in a very better way, right? Or you put that interest in your studies. So how many of you have felt that you have improved better than before? And how many of you feel that you have deteriorated? Like, I was better before, now I don't even study at all. How many of you are like that? Nothing, neutral, ma'am, same. Okay, Mariam, what? Improved or deteriorated?
Yes, I was better before.
Huh? You were better before.
Yes, miss.
Then what happened to you? You stopped studying.
No, like as we go to higher grades,
Hmm.
it started getting harder. So
So no, no, but yeah, I understand that. Once you go to a higher grade, you have a lot of things to remember. Now you people are in 10th and you have just few months to go into class 11, isn't it? 11th, imagine people are going to be in plus two. So now the level, the jump that you're going to get is even going to be higher than this, right? So the study level is going to increase and increase. You have to adapt yourself in such a way that whatever, no matter whatever is this level, you will overcome it. Now, the reason why I'm asking this is, students, because you come here for your knowledge. Do you come here to see me? No, right? You can say no. Obviously, none of you, like, why would you come to see me? You come here to gain knowledge. You come here that ma'am can transfer whatever is in her head into yours, isn't it? That's the only thing. You come here for Bluetooth transferring, right? So for this Bluetooth connection, you people have to learn a lot. Okay. So the bottom line, whenever, if you have any doubts in the assessments that are provided to you, please come with those questions to me. Okay. First, do not Google. Do not Google it. Please do not. Because the Google has variety of answers. It will give you the right answer. That's okay. But you'll never learn like that. Once you come with the question to me, the first thing, like, I understand that many students do not ask me their doubts, because once a student asks their doubt, the teacher will be like, what did you write about it? Or what did you think about it? Just like how Zainab asked me the question, I did ask her how she approached the question. Right? Because I also want to see what was your thought process. But now she learned in a very better way that how she should have answered it. Now, if any point in her life, if she gets this question again, now you'll come with a banger, isn't it, Zanab? So that is what I mean to say. If you have any doubts, please don't go to Google. Come to me first. If you are not satisfied with what the teacher said, then go to Google. But first you come to me. And I know that you'll be satisfied. Clear, students? So because I've got to know that some students are facing problems in that. So that is why I'm saying, if you are facing problems, not just in the homework, in general, in everything, in anything, come to me with that problem. Okay, I'll help you out. And if you're not comfortable in speaking in a group, in a full of class, right? In a class full of students, then you can come to me personally. Also, you can ask them to arrange a meeting with me personally. Then we'll come on Zoom. It will just be me and you, and then we'll discuss. Getting my point? So just feel like this is a safe place to learn better. Getting my point? And learning is an awesome thing, don't you think? Isn't it an awesome thing? Or is it boring? It's just bookish. I don't think so. You know, the things that you learn here will always help you. And always remember that no learning or no study ever goes to waste. All of this will help you out someday or the other. So the whole entire process of excretion is clear to everyone, student? Does anyone have any kind of doubts? Okay, what about the others? The ones that are quiet during the class?
No, ma'am. No, miss.
Oh. Now coming on to the next thing, that is hemodialysis, also known as artificial kidney. Now, can someone tell me why would a person use hemodialysis? Out of interest? Like, oh, I'm interested today. Let's do hemodialysis.
Like, right? That's why.
What did you say?
The kidney isn't functioning right.
The kidney isn't functioning right. More importantly, in the case of failed kidney failure. Right? Kidney failure, you people understand, the kidney is not working at all. Zero. Not functioning right, it means that it is doing something, but not in an accurate way. But here the kidney doesn't function at all. How many kidneys do we have, students? 3 or 4?
Two.
3? 2. Right? 2. I gave options 3 or 4, so you said 2 and then you're like 3. No, always stick to what you know.
I did like this and then I kept it back.
Oh, I thought it's 2.5. Yes, we have 2 kidneys, meaning one pair, right? So many times people, because of certain infections, certain injuries, or maybe if the blood flow is not proper in the body, they have kidney failure. Kidney failure is also known as renal failure. Okay. So in the case of that, now the person cannot filter their own blood. And if a person is not able to filter their own blood, will they die or will they survive?
Die?
Yeah, they die. Imagine nitrogenous waste, they are toxic substances in our body and they are constantly being removed, isn't it? There are some of us that keep on going to the washroom 5 times a day. Then there are some that like all of us go, right? How and why? Why do we go? Fun? No. We go because it's a necessity. We have to remove the nitrogenous substances from our body. So if a person does like you can say not remove the nitrogenous waste or not remove the like eliminated stuff from the body, it will start getting accumulated in the body, isn't it? And obviously it like once the poison, imagine it will start getting converted into a poison, and if a poison accumulates in our body, ultimately will die. So in case of the renal failure or in case of kidney failure, artificial kidney is a temporary solution, not a permanent one. Always remember. Why not a permanent one, students? Why is it a temporary fix?
Because that could fail too.
Hmm?
Because what if that could fail or something?
That would fail. Well, let's just say it's not failing. It's a perfect thing. It's not failing. The procedure is perfect. Then why is it a temporary fix and not a permanent one? Hmm?
Because for this process, the person has to lay down and the person can't lay down forever.
A person can't lay down forever. That's also true. But here in this case, what happens is that laying down is fine. But the person is connected to a machine. Can a person stay connected to the machine forever? No, they can't, right? So this is why it is a temporary fix. It's not a permanent fix. Getting my point? What will be the permanent fix for renal failure?
Kidney transplant.
Kidney transplant, right? Proper surgical method wherein the kidney from a donor is set into the patient. Now, can a person survive without like one kidney, like with one kidney?
They
Yes.
can.
They can 100% survive with one kidney because of one kidney. Now that is a different thing, that this one kidney would have to do a lot of work, but they can survive. They'd have to take care of themselves a lot. But normally, now what happens is that the person who has undergone renal failure, they have to go through a process so as to clean their blood, right? To remove the nitrogenous waste. And this process is called as dialysis. Now, dialysis, if it is being of blood, so we'll call it as hemodialysis, meaning the blood is now getting purified. Now, in this particular dialysis process, there is a proper machine, and the machine has, you can say, every single thing in it, just like our blood. It has like all the plasma structures and everything, like whatever is the composition of our blood, everything is present in the machine, except for one thing, that is nitrogenous waste. Nitrogenous waste is not present in the machine. So once a person's arteries and veins are connected, actually veins, not arteries, veins are connected to the machine, then the blood flows through the machine, and we know that whenever there is a higher concentration of something at one and lower of something at another, which process will take place?
Osmosis. Diffusion.
Osmosis. If like the question that I asked, the answer would be diffusion. But since we are talking about liquid, so that will be osmosis. Now, now osmosis will take place, meaning, as I told you, the amount of glucose and all the blood components in the blood and the dialyzing machine is the same. But what did I tell you? What is the one thing that is not there in the machine?
Nitrogenous waste.
Nitrogenous waste, but it is there in the blood. So the nitrogenous waste from the blood, which is at the higher concentration, it will move to the lower concentration and our blood will be clean from it. And then this blood or the purified blood will send back to the person's body. Clear? But this is not a permanent fix. It is, and also one more thing. Okay, yes. I have very good question. Tell me that if a person has undergone renal failure or kidney failure, what type of process will not take place even if he does hemodialysis? Like his blood is getting filtered. But what is one thing that will not happen? Think about the steps of urine formation and then answer.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
The question is, if a person has undergone kidney failure, okay, now the person is doing hemodialysis. My question is, what is that one thing that will not happen even though he does hemodialysis? Think about the steps of urine formation. Yes?
Like during the kidney, filtration process, there's like a double checking, right?
Double?
Double checking in which even the sub nutritions that get carried away,
Reabsorb.
like those
Reabsorb.
also,
Yeah, that doesn't. Where? What? Basketball.
it goes back.
Yeah, it goes back where? Where?
Back into the
Into the where?
body,
Blood.
blood. Yeah.
Everything is happening in the blood. So if a person undergoes hemodialysis, 100% their blood will be purified of the nitrogenous waste. But the reabsorption part or the secretion part, that will not take place. Very good, Zainab. So that will not take place. Why? Because it doesn't have that mechanism in it so that it can take place. So rather what will happen is that the person will be deprived of all the nutrients, but his blood will be purified. Is it clear? Now, normally in the healthy adult, the kidney filters 180 liters per day. But do we excrete out 180 liters of urine every day? Yes or no?
No.
No, imagine excreting out 180 liters of urine per day. We'll stay in the washroom only throughout the day. 180 liters is a lot, isn't it? Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because you people have understood about the fact that while the blood is being purified, most of the important substances are reabsorbed back again. So that is why the amount of urine is less. Okay, we have this mechanism of producing a very concentrated urine so that a lot of water or a lot of minerals does not get lost. So hemodialysis is clear to everyone or not? Clear? Now the blood gets rid of the nitrogenous waste by hemodialysis, but there is no reabsorption taking place. And this process of hemodialysis, it is a very temporary solution. It's not a permanent fix. The permanent fix for it is organ transplant from a donor, particularly a very close relative, so that there will be mismatching. There will be no mismatch. So
Miss, what if
hemodialysis.
a person has gone through kidney failure, like both his kidneys failed? Is it possible to replace them by kidney transplant or do hemodialysis?
See, if the person has undergone kidney failure, so until he or she gets a donor kidney, they have to stay connected to the hemodialysis machine.
Even
Like
if both the kidneys are gone?
when both the kidneys are gone, if one kidney failure takes place and the other is well, the person doesn't have to go undergo hemodialysis because one kidney is working. It's overloading itself, overworking, but it's working. But if both the kidneys have failed, now they critically have to come here. Now see, this process, it's not that the person will stay connected to this machine forever. No. Periodically, the person has to go to the hospital to get this done, come back to the house. Go to the hospital, get this done, come back to the house. So that is
Oh,
why it is not a, yeah, it's like they do not have to stay connected to the machine throughout their life. No, they'll go to the
but won't the
hospital.
person die once both the kidneys fail? How can...
No, the person won't die because this is being done. If a hemodialysis is not done, then the person will die. But if he is undergoing hemodialysis periodically, how it's supposed to be, then he'll not die. But it is not a like permanent fix. Apart from that, this process is painful. It's not a very like how it looks like. It's not so simple. It's very painful. A person has to undergo a lot of pain when this is done, because I've seen this being done in real life also. Okay, so it's like a very painful process. So a person has to find a permanent fix for it. That is hemo, like organ transplant. And the kidney has to be, you can say the donor kidney has to be from a closer relative, so that it does not get rejected by our body. Clear?
Yes.
The whole entire process of your excretory system, hemodialysis, organ transplant, why is it done, where is it done, all of these things are clear to you all. Now remember, while I was talking to you about the machine, I said that it is connected to the vein. Why is it not connected to the artery?
Because the vein carries impure blood.
That's right. Once the blood gets purified, then it is sent to the artery. But normally, the blood is taken, the dirty blood is taken from the vein, because the vein itself is the blood vessel that will carry the impure blood, the dirty blood. But the purified blood will be carried by the artery. Now this much is clear. Any doubts? Now, do plants have an excretory system?
Yes.
Yes, they do. How many
Like
kidneys do plants have?
kidneys, like they do have their own ways of excreting.
That's true. So a plant, like all of the stuff that a plant does not require, it excretes it in one form or the other. Just like how oxygen. Oxygen is of no use to the plant. It only uses it a little bit, and then the rest of it is sent out into the environment. And that is done through the stomata. Now, the excess water can be lost through transpiration, which is like from the stomata only. Through the process of evaporation, the water molecule will turn into water vapor. They can also get rid of the excretory waste product, like some of the components like excessive metals, excessive ions and all, they can be excreted in the soil around them. Apart from that, many plants store their waste product in the leaves. And you might have seen that leaves, they fall down during the autumn season, right? That is actually the wasted leaves. The leaves are of no use to the plant. The dried, desiccated leaves, they collect dead cells, they collect the waste product of the plant. Clear? Apart from that, you have also studied about vacuoles, you might have in class 9, which are the excretory, you can say cellular structures. They store the stuff that is not of use to the cell at that point of time. Now, the components such as gums, resins, then alkaloids, many components like these are not used by the plants. They are made as a defense mechanism. So, they are also like present in the woody part. Have you people seen that how maple syrup is extracted from a tree? Have you people seen that? No. See, those people that are harvesters of the maple syrup, what they do is that they take a bucket, go to the maple tree. Then there is a very sharp object, and with that object, they hit the bark of the tree. And it's like the object has a very sharp end, and one side it has a tap-like structure, a knob. So once it gets hit into the portion of the tree, in the middle portion of the bark of the tree, the maple syrup starts to come out. The maple syrup is, you can say it is extracted from the maple tree, right? And remember that it is not of any use to the plant. We use it, but plant does not require it. All of these things that we use from the plant does not require it. It's of no use to the plant. So it's a waste product only, but it's of you can say economic value, great value to us. Now the plants also excrete some waste into the soil around them. So this chapter is basically done. I think this was the revision going on, right? Is there anyone who does not have any points or anything written in their notes? Have you been cross-checking your notes that maybe you might have missed something out or anything of that sort? No? Everyone has the notes completed? All right. So we have revised control and coordination, right? That's also done. And we have revised the life process. Now tell me, students, anything you want to ask? Any doubts? Any tips or advice you need? Also, I hope that you people have started to study, self-study. How much time do you people devote to self-study? Like in a day, how much time do you give for studying? Not your class, not your school. Self-study.
If exams are there, then like for a long, long time. But whereas if exams are not there, then it depends. Like
Depends
just
on the mood.
after like the tuition.
Hmm. What about the other?
For self-studying, I just keep it for like 1 hour.
1 hour. See, even if it is half an hour, but in that period of time, if you are concentrating very much on the topics that you are studying, it's sufficient for you. All right, now as you slowly go on to higher classes, you need to increase that time duration. Okay, now life processes is completed. I have I have taught this chapter to you. Now we have done the revision also. Now tell me, students, if you have any doubts, anything you want to ask, like in chapter wise. Okay, now see, I was thinking that whenever our next class is scheduled, we'll do MCQs together. We'll see how to approach the questions. Okay, I'll also put some subjective questions as well, so that I'll ask you people only. Tell me how would you write about it. Tell me how would you go about it. And always remember the marks that the question carries. You have to write according to the marks. There are many questions that are very explanatory. Hey, they need a long explanation. But if the question is just for 2 marks, do you need to write 5 pages for it? No, you don't. Not even a bit. So we'll discuss that also. We'll see how to approach MCQs and how to approach the subjective questions. Okay, students? So be present in the next class. We'll do so. And also, for solving the questions, you people have to learn both the chapters by heart. So until the next class that we have, life processes and control and coordination must be completed. Completed means completed. I can ask anything from anywhere and you'd have to answer. And if you're not answering, you'd also have to answer why you're not answering. So there will be a lot of answering in that class. Okay? So be prepared for that. Also, I would like to say one more thing. Yes, I was saying that instead of all of the things that you do, like you start making notes or you writing, while we are studying, we write a lot. But I'd suggest, first of all, you people read the notes, you learn the things, and then you write to make it pakka, like fixed. It's done. Okay? And also in the next class, we'll solve questions and we'll do sort of like a viva round. I'll ask particularly taking names. So prepare it like that. I'll ask everything that I've taught in the class, nothing extra. Okay? Okay, students? So prepare it nicely. And then all of you will be set for the fight. That is your mid-term, what is it called? Half yearly examination.
I'm done with my half yearly is done though.
Oh, then you'll prepare for your final exams, the bigger one. So I'll have
another exam coming up now.
Oh, you do? These two chapters are only coming?
No, like 2 different chapters will come.
Okay, got it. All right. So we'll do so accordingly, students. Okay, so be prepared. I don't want anyone to feel left out. Oh, I don't know. I'll keep quiet. I don't want that. I want everyone to speak. All right. So I'll see you all in the next class then.
Miss,
Yes.
we only finished control and coordination and life processes, right?
Yeah.
We did not do our environment.
No, not yet.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.